Hello, good afternoon. We would like to thank Platform Magazine and organizers of Archimarathon for inviting us here to explain our project. And we're honored to be actually the only delegation from Venice in this event. So we're quite happy. The authors of Aftermath project, there are three of us. This is two architects, me and Jaume Prat, and the film director is Aquila Cuesta, who's not here with us yet because he's editing the last pictures for the pavillion. That means that our exhibition doesn't consist actually it's not a classical exhibition of architecture, it's rather a movie. Actually, it's a series of movies that explain architecture. We decided to name it Aftermath as a reflection of an object of our study. This is not really a project, it's rather an investigation, an ongoing investigation of our common interest that are centered in the view of the user of an architectural intervention. We decided to try to concentrate on how people live, understand, and appreciate architecture as maybe the definite evaluation of its quality. Well, we relate to the general theme of the Biennale, which is reporting from the front, where Alejandro Aravena, the general curator, was was wanting to show interventions and projects that managed to improve the life of people, that actually managed to subvert this general tendency of putting more importance to individual benefit of a few over the benefit of all. So we have selected 7 projects all over Catalonia, made by architects from different generations, that have in common a creating of common good, that have in common being projected and thought with the user as its center, and that also have in common being evolved and being built around public spaces. The projects that we show are the rehabilitation and renaturalization of river banks of the river Llobregat. This is a river next to Barcelona, in the Barcelona metropolitan area. And it is a project that connects 6 municipalities. It also improves the quality of the river, but it creates a big green corridor that connects these small towns and give them the access to the sea, the pedestrian and bicycle access, basically. As I said, all the buildings and interventions that we selected are very respectful with their context, with their social, with their natural context, with their urban context, and connect also this. And this is a hospital, transfrontier hospital, being built between Catalonia and France. So it not only connects two countries and two health systems and two liberal systems, but also building itself as a form includes the scenery and the mountains in the inside. There is another, this is the Julia Tower. This is a residential block for elderly people, as assisted residents, that actually puts all the corridors and all the community spaces on the facade. In that way, it connects the cityscape and brings it inside to the building. Theater and Music Conservatory in Vic, in the city of Vic, Atlantida, is built around. It is very complex program of three halls of 3 theaters and a music school. But what is important in this building is that it's built around a city street, and it's very respectful with the cityscape of the old town, medieval town of Wick. There are 2 architects' teams. This is new architecture and the project of Archikubic team that will be explained by themselves, so I won't be explaining actually this project. And the last one that we will show, the 7th, is Can Balló. This is a social center built by a very young group of architects and the users and the local community. This is self-managed and self-constructed space. It is actually the transformation of a very big industrial complex that was meant to be a luxury apartment, but due to the crisis it never came to be. And the local community was fighting for like 35 years to have a community center. So definitely the quality that all these buildings share is that they configure a public space for connection and communication, which is in equal and in discriminating terms. And we understand it as a common good, as this added value to the architecture that people like and that people take care of. We understand it also as a legacy of these last 10 years of difficulties in Spain. It's something that it is not the formal thing, but rather the way that people understand and appreciate architecture. And now my co-curator Dauma will explain how the pavilion is built and what the exhibition actually consists of. And then we'll hear Noah Architecture and Archikubic that will explain their particular project. Thank you.
So I will explain you how the exhibition in Venice we're going to be. We are here. This is a warehouse in Cantieri Navale, in Venezia, halfway between the Arsenale and the Giardini, who are the 2 main spaces which develops and succeed the Biennale. And this is a single space with all this quality, brick, wood, this very simple structure to hold the roof. Skylight here that we are blinded in order to project in the interior of the building. And we want to give value to this very beautiful space, and also we wanted to build our own cinema here. And the way to do this is the plan for the pavilion, the warehouse, and this is our intervention. Our intervention consists in the collocation here of these very special high-tech buildings built by the local company in Catalonia that actually is international and had some buildings built here in Milan with his products. These are curved glass, and we are proposing a single installation that provides you a very strong first view. The first view is important in an exhibition because it's what you give in the first time. And this first view will be developed by the user, because you'll see here plenty of screens with floating images projected on screen in order to give value to the entire space. And these screens are the user, not the visitor, the user will going to walk around here and will convert in the final editor of the film, because you have here plenty of screens that you you cannot see the entire exhibition at the same time. You have to choose, and for us this is very important. So you will have here these huge glasses, these screens, these images floating. This is one of the working views. These are the screens, glass screens, curved glass screens, and you will have these images floating on the screens, and you will walk around here, and this will be the way we will gonna show you this. The facade will gonna be like this. This is a new product developed by this company for us, broken glass mounted in a curved glass that will lead you and will guide you to the interior of the pavilion in order to see this. And now after this, I will give pass to new architectures that will explain you his project. Maria?
Hi, good afternoon. We are going to explain the food distribution center. Okay.
You want to start from here, or you want to do the first one?
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the project we are going to explain is the food distribution center, which it's a very small project. Després d'aquest. After this one? Yeah, this one. This is the one. So, yeah, it's a very small project because it's only 80 square meters, but it serves over 200 families. And it was designed with three strong requirements. The first one is the very short period of time for designing it and building it. We only have 3 months, 1 month and a half for the design and the other month and a half for the construction. Then the second strong requirement was the low economic resources. So it was built with only 50,000 euros. And then we have the third one, that is the strong security needs, because it's located in a neighborhood with its marginal, so they were really afraid of robberies and so on. So that's why the building has this compact, it has this compact, it looks like a bunker when it's closed, but when it opens not only to the people, but also to light and to ventilation and so on. So here you see the plan, the floor plan is very simple. It's structured in 3 spaces. So the first one would be the distribution space. Yeah, thanks. Second one will be the service space, which works like a filter between the main space, which is the distribution one, and then the third space, which is the storage. And this building works more like a trail rather than a space. It's like people come here and do circulate and pick the food that they need, and then sorry, and well, we can show the circulation. They go, yeah. Okay, this is the one. They get in right here, and then they do the circulation, and then they go out here. So we can see that the people cross the building and food gets the other way around. And yeah, basically that's okay. Another important thing was that the building was finished by 120 volunteers that only one morning they did the finishes, and yeah, it was a nice morning, as you can see. and the same day as the opening. And then, yeah, Mikel will explain you another building.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to Archie Marathon and Platform for the opportunity to explain very quick our building. This is a parking for 850 cars, ground floor plus 9 in the middle of Montpellier, because it's related to the train station of the TGV, the train, high-speed train. Obviously, to make such a big building in the middle of the city was a very challenging opportunity to trying to transform the building in a urban device. The building, it's connect one neighborhood that it's cut by the rails that arrive to the station, and we designed that exterior but elevate street. We designed some balconies because have very interesting views over the Montpellier city, and upstairs there is a square where we plant some rampant plants for in the future make a kind of a green roof. So the company that runs the business of parking can rent the square upstairs for in the weekend for young people to make parties or whatever. So finally, it's a building that has a street, a balcony, and a square. And this is our strategy to transform the building into a urban device. The second strategy that we designed it was that instead of have 210 centimeters, 2.10 centimeters high, that is enough for fit the cars, we decided to make it 2.6. That makes that in the future, if the high-speed train move or the cars turns into something more little or directly disappear, we can transform the building in something else than just the parking, like dwellings or offices or whatever. So the idea of reversibility was at the beginning of the project, at the beginning of the competition, and what one of the reasons that we won the competition, said the jury. And the third is that fabric, ceramic tiles fabric, that it works exactly like a fabric, so that arrive in the trucks and the crane getting up. One piece that can arrive to 25 meters long this way. And we can pixelate and choose the colors. We choose the colors that are very close from the city of Montpellier, that it's very ceramic, it's very similar that colors, and permit us to rescale the building into a more human scale, because the building, it makes more or less from here to here 175 meters long. So it's very, very huge, and all our obsession was to trying to recover the human scale of the building. Also, they have some nice effects, very organoleptic effects, that what happened by night, by day, because it have a very good orientation. And when the sun enters into the building, it creates those shadows. And during the night, it's the structure of the interior that expresses the idea of the building. Finally, using this kind of facade, on open facade, we arrived at more than 50% of free space that permit that we don't use special conducts for ventilation or artificial ventilation of the parking, or natural ventilation, and then we save a little bit of money that we put in those 50 centimeters plus height building each level that we propose. And I think that this is the last one. Thank you.
I'll just, as we explain, in this exhibition, we just stop it for a second, please. Just let me explain for a second. In this exhibition, we wanted to question and to investigate a little bit about how architecture is shown usually. And we don't actually show much of models, plans, and photos that already everyone knows. We rather wanted to transmit an experience of architecture. So we filmed each and every building, we talked to the users, we also talked to the architects, and architects have their space on the internet. So so this is kind of cinema, we try to mix the two media in order to see up to which point architecture can be explained and represented by films. So I would like to invite you to visit our website, where you can see all the interviews we did with architects and also the inhabitants of the buildings and the interventions we show, and to visit our pavilion in Venice. And here's a teaser made by Isaki La Cuesta. Thank you very much.
Recordar aquella canción, ni Alemania ni Francia podrá quitarme el cariño de mi madre que Roma.
Qual track ronda?